This mechanism just reinforces the inability to adapt. We experience too much stress and fear. Why did I deserve this? In this video, we're gonna discuss what fear is and how to deal with it in a little bit unconventional but a very effective way. And you'll get a step-by-step guide to reducing fear in almost any situation. I'm excited to have you here. Let's start. We're afraid when we face something unknown, when we lack skills or expertise to resolve the situation. This tool, fear, is the very reason our ancestors survived. When an enormous animal attacked them, they didn't try to fight back. Anytime they faced an unknown situation, our ancestors had basically 4 tools in their toolbox. They survived due to 4 types of behavior. They could attack, run, pretend being dead, or distract. And only those who use this toolbox wisely survive. Now you remember that we have this reptilian brain that is dominated by impulse and instinct rather than rational thought. And it's actually very similar to what our ancestors had. But we don't attack our opponents with a stick, nor do we run from them. And we certainly don't pretend being dead. Yeah, probably, except a few times. So what do? Let's say you want to start your business and you discuss it with your partner. And that was not the most successful negotiation in your life. In the end, your partner doesn't want you to engage in some risky venture. And now you're sitting in your room trying to understand what happened and why is your partner against you starting this business. What would you be thinking to yourself in this situation? Here are 4 possible reactions. Instead of physically attacking this person, you might start to blame them. Because he's a toxic person. He doesn't understand. Instead of running away, you start to take offense, overreact, and feel sorry for yourself. I'm alone in this. No one will help me. My business idea was to start selling the mugs he adores. Maybe he doesn't love me anymore. Instead of pretending death, we make excuses and rationalize. He said no because he was in a bad mood. He told me no because he was hungry. Maybe that was a sign and I shouldn't engage in my own business. And instead of distracting, well, we distract ourselves. Time to check it off. What about my next vacation? I've got so much work to do. I'll think about it tomorrow. And typically one of the 4 reactions is stronger. So what would be your default reaction? Think about any stressful situation that you have experienced recently. What were you saying to yourself? A while ago, I traveled to Verona and my return flight was at 9:40 a.m. from Bergamo Airport, which is 100 kilometers away from Verona. So I bought a bus ticket. And as my flight was early and the airport was too far away, I needed to be at the bus stop at 5 a.m. I was at this train and bus station at 5:30, and I was a little bit nervous because my SIM card stopped working and I should have received a message from the bus when it arrives. That's what typically happens with this bus. But it was 5 a.m. and the bus was nowhere to be seen. 10 minutes later, it still wasn't there. And then I remembered that there is a link in the ticket which you can click to track the actual location of the bus. So I clicked the link only to discover that the bus departed like 12 minutes ago. And even though I expected something like this to happen, the first reaction was just shock. I'm gonna miss the plane. And I'm the kind of person who never ever misses a train or a bus or any other means of transportation. I almost cried. And as I was standing there at 5:15 in the morning, gazing into the dawn sky, I experienced all these 4 types of reaction. Stupid driver, who doesn't stop at the train station? I did everything right. I was there at 4:30. Why did I deserve this? Okay, I didn't catch the bus because my SIM card wasn't working. And then I missed the plane because there was not enough time to get to the airport. Maybe I should just book a hotel and watch a movie. And all of these reactions were really helpful to our ancestors. But now in our present time, instead of helping, this mechanism just reinforces the inability to adapt. I would have probably called my husband. That would be my natural reaction. Or my friend who was still in Verona. But it was 5 a.m. in the morning, and standing there, I realized that no one cares in the best possible meaning of these words. I just can do whatever I want. I can choose to catch a train and try to get to the airport before my flight departs, or I can choose to skip the plane and stay in the city. All I really needed is to make a decision fast. And the story does have a happy ending. I just caught a train, made the connection, and got to the airport in time. But for me, it was a good example of how this thinking mechanism works. And when we face fear, we enable one of the 4 default reactions based on experience. But on top of that, our brain is a lazy guy. He protects himself from extra work. And one of the things he loves doing is generalizing. We experience too much stress and fear in this situation, so we should avoid such situations for good. How many times has this happened to you? You've fallen from a bike and you start believing that biking is not your thing. You started your business and you failed, so you conclude that business is not your thing. So is it possible to react in a different manner, different from these 4 scenarios? Yes, but your brain doesn't want to do that because it's difficult, very stressful, and requires honesty and an incredible amount of resource. You see, the moment we start blaming someone or feeling sorry for ourselves or distracting, the reason it happens is to avoid stress. Stress of admitting your mistake and building new neural connections. So we start lying to ourselves and we have 4 options to choose from. Of course, I know why the situation happened. If I had checked the location of the bus stop in advance, I would have been on the bus. But for many of us, admitting our mistakes is tightly connected with a feeling of guilt. By admitting mistakes, we basically unleash our inner critic. You dumbass! You're so unorganized. So what do you do to avoid these 4 reactions? You might want to honestly answer this question. What have I done for this situation to happen? And as soon as you honestly answer this question, the brain starts working in the right direction. So to conclude, we feel fear when we face something unknown in a situation where we lack skills or expertise to deal with the situation. Second, you cannot eliminate fear forever, but you can know how you typically react to fear. Analyze this reaction, and next time it happens, it'll be manageable. Next, admit and analyze your mistake with no sense of guilt. What have I done to cause this situation? Next, make sure you know what you want. What is your primary goal in this situation? What would you like to get from it? That was it. Now I would love to hear from you. Have you had an insight during this video? Leave it in the comments. Thank you for watching and see you next week.